Hey guys, so we have talked about Dolls Kill, we've talked about Shein, Urban Outfitters, and today we're going to be tackling everything wrong with Brandy Melville, which is probably the most requested company that I talk about since starting this series. Before we get into all the drama around Brandy Melville though, I just want to thank Casetify for sponsoring this video. In case you haven't heard of Casetify before, which I would be surprised, they are a tech company that specializes in phone cases, AirPod cases, watch bands, and other tech accessories. And what piqued my interest in them and why I'm working with them today is because they just launched their Casetify Conscious collection. So these phone cases are 100% compostable and made of zero virgin plastic. They're made of bamboo-based materials, and a tree is planted for every compostable case sold. They're still just as protective, of course, as their other cases and are approved for drops up to 4 feet. They come in different colors, you can customize them, and they ship to you in eco-friendly packaging, which is amazing. So the packaging and the case itself is completely free of virgin plastic. They also sent me these cute little masks that have Casetify on them. Thank you for these. Can't have too many of these nowadays. I love the oatmeal kind of color case. I've had this on my phone for about 2 weeks now. It is so nice. It feels great. I also really love how the black compostable case looks as well. It just looks very sleek. There's little bits of color in there and it's just so nice. So go to casetify.com/sarahh today and get 20% off your compostable case and help plant a tree. So now let's talk about Brandy Melville. They were actually founded in Italy in the 80s and opened their first US store in 2009 in Westwood in Southern California. And I think we all know about Brandy Melville by now and their issues around it. They are known as being kind of a throwback teen brand, kind of like 90s vibe clothing items. But of course, they're more famously known for their one-size-fits-all clothing line. Of course, they're not actually one-size-fits-all, as we know. They claim on their website that their clothing actually fits an extra small to a small, and on occasion, a small medium. But that's pushing it. Here's Pepe, by the way. He decided to join us. I know he's fat, okay? I know, we're working on it. We're not here to body shame anyone, okay? We're talking about Brandy Melville. This is the last thing we need is to body shame. So the only size large items that Brandy Melville sells are labeled as oversized, which is implying that that's how it's supposed to fit, is oversized. So if you're genuinely a size large and it fits snug or perfectly, right? That's not how it's supposed to be worn, so therefore it's wrong. I think it's really interesting too that they still to this day defend their sizing choices by saying that anyone can walk into their stores and find something, even if it's just a bag. They literally said that. Because that's what I go to a clothing store for, is to just walk out with a bag. Like a purse, like. And to say that you cater to larger body types because you sell oversized clothing, that's not what that means. When you use the term oversized, that's not catering to a size large person or extra large or anything of the sort. Granted, their clothing items are a little bit stretchier, but if a shirt is labeled oversized and you're a size large and it fits you perfectly, like tight, what is that going to do to your self-esteem? When you label it oversized, you're clearly marketing it for smaller people who are meant to wear that item as an oversized shirt or whatever, sweater. And so those people who buy it and it fits aren't gonna feel great about themselves because it's labeled oversized. I'm still not sure how a brand can still get away with this kind of like marketing and sizing in 2020 when fast fashion brands generally to this day still cater to small sizes already. The image that Brandy Melville promotes and perpetuates is a thin white girl, probably from California, who is classically pretty, of course. I mean, just take a scroll through their Instagram page. They clearly do not care about inclusivity, diversity, or Black, Indigenous people of color, or anyone who's plus sized or above the size 4. They do not have much no representation for plus size and very little representation of POC. This is such a toxic image that they've created for their brand, and everyone knows that it's bad, that they're not inclusive at all. They're probably the least inclusive brand that exists in fast fashion, yet they still continue to be a successful company. Personally, I blame it on the capitalist mindset and the self-centered notion that as long as I'm included, I don't care that a lot of other people are excluded. As long as I fit in the clothes, I'll shop there because it caters to me. So why do I care about supporting a company if I fit in the clothes? I don't care about anyone else not fitting in the clothes or not being represented. And I think that's honestly what they want, because they are excluding 90% of the population, yet are still successful as a brand because they've created this kind of exclusive club that you have to fit into, or that people strive to fit into. into. It's like once you fit into this unattainable standard, you'll be one of the cool kids and you'll be like one of the girls on their Instagram page. People have actually expressed shame when shopping at Brandy Melville because they know that it's a horrible company to support, yet it's like a guilty pleasure store for them that they just can't stop shopping at. And on the flip side, a lot of young people have actually voiced that they feel better about themselves when they do actually fit into the clothes and when the clothes are catered to them. They feel great. They feel a self-esteem boost. And while this may be a positive experience for them, to me, that's still a toxic relationship that you're having with a clothing company. I get it. Some people want to be the cool kid, but why would you want to be part of that group or club or whatever if it's excluding so many people, like deliberately excluding? Brandy Melville is trying to dictate what the ideal body type is while everyone else is left to feel insecure and not good enough because they can't fit into Brandy Melville clothes, and they do this on purpose. They're so self-aware, but almost not self-aware at all. They know what they're doing because they say, well, anyone can shop in our stores. You just might walk away with a bag, but you could at least go in there and spend a little money. Or if you're large, you'll fit into some of our clothes. It's not like you can't fit into any of them. And that to me screams that they are aware of what they're doing, but they're also not aware of how it's actually impacting the fashion industry, or not even fashion industry, fast fashion. It's not part of the fashion industry, that's for sure. Or affecting people in any other way than whether the clothes fit them or not. Like, they're not thinking about self-esteem or anything. And I know it's silly to blame a fast fashion brand on self-esteem issues, but they have caused so many issues for so many young people. Now, I know some are gonna present the argument, so I'm just gonna address it right now. Well, we have plus size stores that are, you know, exclusive to plus size clothing. Why can't we have petite stores? Because plus size stores exclude other body types, don't they? The issue is that Brandy Melville isn't marketing or advertising itself as a petite store, and it doesn't reference the fact that it's only for thin people. It's just implied when you walk into the store or go on the website and you're bombarded with images of thin models and thin workers and employees, which they get a lot of their employees, by the way, from their customer pool as well as their models. If they are indeed just meant for petite people and this was intentional, not because they want to perpetuate a thin body standard, but because they genuinely want to cater to petite people, then why don't they market that? Why don't they advertise as that? It's just common knowledge that they have a one size fits all. If they really wanted to cater to petite body types, they wouldn't call their lines one size fits all, which obviously isn't the case. That's, I think, another dig at people who are larger than a size 4, because when it says one size fits all and you're like an 8 or something and you're trying to get into these clothing items and it doesn't fit, then you're gonna feel worse about yourself. And my argument is fast fashion, or fashion in general, has never catered to plus size clothing or plus size people. So I think it's amazing that we have these specialty stores that, you know, specialize in plus size clothing. I don't care if they're excluding petite body types. We can find our clothes anywhere in the world, like anywhere else. Go to another store, Forever 21, whatever. You can find clothes if you're petite. That's not an issue. Well, I don't know about petite. Obviously, if you're like 4 foot or something, obviously there's gonna be a need for a specialized clothing line for you, but that is not what Brandy Melville is trying to do. There's just a bigger demand for specific plus size stores because fast fashion companies are not catering to them at all. So their image standards don't actually stop at their models. Their employees are also scrutinized, and some have claimed that you are hired based on attractiveness, which I fully believe, because a full-size photo is required for the application process. Why else would they want to see what you look like? Not just a headshot, a full body photo. Some have said that they will not hire you if you're black, and they will fire you if you gain weight or if you cut your hair. Anything that does not perpetuate this image and this beauty standard that they are desperately trying to promote for some reason. If you do not fit into their small box of beauty standards, you will not be hired or will be fired. And obviously it's kind of a joke. I've seen TikToks about this before, like, oh, POV, you're shopping at Brandy Melville and things like that. It's kind of a joke at this point that Brandy Melville employees are just rude. They are pretentious. They are, you know, judgmental. They make comments about sizing and things like that. And is that a prerequisite? Is that part of the training you have to go through and be trained by other rude people to be taught to be rude to customers that don't look like they would shop in your stores. And honestly, I think this is another way that they make their stores feel like an exclusive club. It feels like the cool girls table at high school or something. You must look like, act like, dress like their employees and models because that is the beauty standard. Also, their product research team is a group of teen girls living in Santa Monica. I mean, that explains a lot right there. Another reason why they do not care about inclusivity, diversity, and I guarantee none of those girls are plus size. Maybe not even people of color. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. Allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly. I don't know. But they clearly don't care about diversity at all. So normally I talk about fast fashion companies and I really get into the fast fashion aspect of, well, actually I stopped kind of doing the fast fashion aspect to talk about their other problematic behaviors, so this video isn't really that different. But I want to answer the question, is Brandy Melville considered fast fashion? Because it's kind of a mixed response when you try to look it up online. Brandy Melville is made in Italy, allegedly. When you look at the tags, it does say made in Italy and sold from the US, probably. I mean, it depends, I think, on their warehouses. I do want to point out that they also are primarily sold in white-based countries, and that might be a little nitpicky, but I just want to point it out. Maybe I don't know. I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying. They do not offer international shipping. So if you go on their US website, it says we no longer offer international shipping. I don't know why. So here's what I could find online regarding their ethical and sustainable practices about Brandy Melville, and it's not that much, and it's all kind of contradictory to itself a little bit, and none of it comes directly from Brandy Melville. So first I started at Good On You because I find that a really reliable app, and I recommend it if you are trying to avoid fast fashion. You can kind of learn about their ethical standards as far as they have like different categories that they rate: planet, people, and animals. So you can kind of decide which are most important to you. So for Brandy Melville, they rated it we avoid. It says they do not communicate sufficient information about its environmental and labor policies. They didn't get very good ratings on planet, people, animals, but I think it's only because they don't provide sufficient information about it. So they say we avoid because if it's not readily available information, it's not something they're proud of, they might be hiding something. So then there's this website, Noji. I don't know how to pronounce that. I've never heard of this brand before. It says, is Brandy Melville considered an ethical brand? And it says down here, yes, Brandy Melville does support ethical practices. You can find additional information about it on their customer service page here. When I clicked on that link, there was nothing. It went to their frequently asked questions, and I went all around their website trying to find something regarding their ethical practices, and I found nothing. So they don't advertise it at all. And to me, that's a red flag, because if you genuinely are making all of your garments in Italy, that should be something that you brag about, something that you're proud of. Granted, their prices are a little questionable to me, that they could make them in Italy ethically and still have those price points. Granted, they are more like Urban Outfitters price points. They're not like Forever 21 or anything. They're a little bit pricier for what you're actually getting. So maybe they are made ethically. I don't know. So then there's this website called Ethicaloo. Again, never heard of it, never used it. And they're rated a 3 out of 5 on everything. Transparency 3 out of 5. I don't believe that because there's nothing. There's literally nothing. But it says here their clothes are primarily made in Italy, with some manufacturing being outsourced to China. So that raises a red flag to me. So when fast fashion companies claim or have a tag that says made in somewhere in Europe or made in the USA, what can actually happen is a lot of the clothing items are outsourced to countries like China or Bangladesh or somewhere where they can exploit their workers, right? Or manufacture it very cheap. And then it's flown back to these European countries, US, whatever, Canada. And then the tag is sewn on in these countries. Thus they can put made in USA, made in Italy. Or maybe a decal is added, like on these Brandy Melville shirts, you know? It could be little details like that that are actually done on their shirts, but the majority of the garment is actually made in countries where it is known that they are exploited because they can make them really, really cheap. So they're making a huge profit. I'm not saying that this is what Brandy Melville is doing. I'm just saying that this is something that happens a lot in the fast fashion industry because they want to appear more ethically made or ethically sourced or something, because people are more aware of it now, and generally people want to be aware of where their clothing items are being made. It really wasn't the case back in the day, but now people are more aware. So they're trying to cut corners where they can so they can still make as much money as possible. And because there's zero information about where their clothing items are actually manufactured, I wouldn't put it past Brandy Melville to just say that they're made in Italy or sew a tag on or iron on a decal in Italy and say it's from Italy. And one of the reasons why I could kind of believe that they could be outsourcing a majority of their clothing items actually to China, again, this is all alleged, this is me assuming, is because they started as a small company in Italy. So the odds that the large company it is now would still be manufacturing a majority of their clothing in Italy is kind of unreasonable to think of, because I mean, I don't really know if they're considered a fast fashion brand, right? Because there's no information about it. But it makes sense that as a company grows, they would then go more into unethical practices in order to keep up with demand. When they were a small company, I 100% believe they were ethically made in Italy. But now, given the popularity of Brandy Melville and the fact it's in multiple countries, how would it be possible that they're still being manufactured in Italy only? I mean, it does say some are outsourced to China. So I decided to email them. I wanted to reach out to Brandy Melville and see if they could tell me any information about their ethical practices or manufacturing or where their clothing items are actually made. So I used my horror channel email just because I wanted to avoid using my name just in case they knew of my videos. Is that vain? That I think they might have seen my videos and they're nervous. That's so dumb. I don't know. I just didn't want to use my main email, okay? So I'll read you what I said. Hi there. I had a few questions regarding your ethical standards and practices when it comes to manufacturing Brandy Melville clothing items, as there is a mixed response online. What percentage of clothing is being outsourced to other countries such as China for manufacturing? Can you tell me the working conditions of these outsourced warehouses? Thank you. I get a response from someone and they say, hi, thanks for your interest in Brandy Melville. I went ahead and forwarded your information to the correct department. If you have any additional questions, email, blah, blah, blah. And I sent that on August 19th. They replied later that day on August 19th. I'm filming this on the 21st of August and I have not heard back. So it's been 2 days. I haven't heard anything. I had to film this video. I thought I reached out in time. I haven't heard anything. If they email me between now and when this video goes up, which is next week, I will add in a little thing here of what their response actually was. But as of right now, I can't talk about their response or what they actually said. If they said anything at all, who knows? If they didn't, I'll put in a text still that they haven't received anything from them. So they have also been guilty of stealing designs from other artists, smaller artists and things, smaller companies. That's no surprise. That goes without a doubt for any fast fashion company out there. Again, not sure if you can consider Brandy Melville fast fashion yet. I have my doubts that they are ethically made, and I have my suspicions that they are in fact considered fast fashion in the sense that I don't think all of their clothing items are made ethically in ethical warehouses in Italy. That's just me though, allegedly. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts about Brandy Melville. I know they impact a lot of people and their self-esteem, so I would love to hear your experiences with them in the comments. And you know, if you have positive too, you can share that. But generally, not a fan of this company. It is so bad to me, and so I just don't get it. I don't get this company, and I don't get how they can get away with their actions and get away with being a company in general without having more diversity, without having a size range. Minimum, you should have a size range, and they don't. So please let me know what is the next company you would like me to address in a video and talk about. There are so many more, you know, this series could be endless, but leave your recommendations down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.